Hello, everyone. Welcome to an orientation session on Six Sigma. Six Sigma as a concept, Six Sigma as a methodology, and what it can do specifically for your career overall. So, the slogan or the one liner that I use to define one of the things that is very constant in our life is change. And how Six Sigma will play a significant role in making um, all that we do at work, at life, everything, have a different perspective, have a different vision, and focus more towards constant improvements. So, with no further delay, let me go further and talk about what's coming in this short session. So, we'll talk a very little about Six Sigma, what the concept is, what we believe it does, and so on. I will focus more on what it can do to one in an IT industry. If you're working in an IT industry, and this session is specifically focused for that, not if you're working in a manufacturing industry or any other production and so on. We will also talk about a little bit about Six Sigma, the various concepts, the various programs, a little bit about the belts and certifications that you probably have heard, and how we have designed a course that may help you to learn it further. So, what really is Six Sigma? Now, I'm sure if I ask the audience, and you can freely use chat to let me know what you think Six Sigma is, please. It's been there for a long time. It's been a buzzword. You've been aware of it. You've heard of it many times. So, let me ask the audience quickly what you think Six Sigma is. It could be anything, doesn't matter. So please use your chat, and at this point, just give me some inputs as to your perception of what it truly is. And then you could look at what I have put together overall and see how close we both are. So, team, go ahead. Please take a moment and start putting in your comments as to what you think is Six Sigma. All right. So there you go. So I get responses. I see someone saying it's a methodology. Then I heard one more, a process improvement methodology. One more input is process improvement activities which would yield dollar benefits to an organization. One in a million defect. Uh, it is perhaps a process that helps to improve production. Six Sigma is strategies, techniques, and tools for process improvement. I think it is a methodology for quality. And uh, there are many more coming, but all on similar lines. And what I'll show you is not going to be different. But the way we apply it, the way we look into it, at the end of the entire thing is going to be different. That is what we'll focus at. But if you look at what is it? Is it a measure of quality? Yes. It is used to measure how much of quality does your process have. All right, is it, and then it is a measure, it is a set of management or execution principles that lets you take data as a feed into understanding how a current process is, setting a target to improving it from a data point of view, and then going about in a very disciplined manner to make that improvement. As simple as that is, for example, all right, you are a student in, let's say, a grade or a sixth grade and so on, and let's say that your mathematics or your physics or any other subject is not that great, so you want to improve it. That is the goal. Now, what is the first thing is the measure. How are you measuring of your performance in there? You're looking at your score, you're looking at your grade, and you're seeing how are you performing compared to everyone else, right? And then that is the one that you would want to improve. So you have a quantifiable improvement. Let us say, very simple, is that you're working on a diet program, right? You want to improve. What do you want to improve? You want to improve your health. So as a measure for that, you are actually trying to lose weight. All right, let's say you're trying to lose weight. So what's your measure? Weight is your measure. You're going to measure today, and let's say that you're about 180 pounds, and then you put an aim saying that you want to come down to 160 pounds in, let's say, 6 months time. So what are you trying to do? You're going to measure. Now you're going to measure at the end of the entire improvement that you do, and see how you're going to do, how you perform. Not necessarily that you're going to measure only 2 times, but that's a measure. So you're going to take a data to tell you how well you're doing something. It is also about reducing defects in the overall process. So you're talking about improving quality, you're talking about improving performance, you're talking about reducing defects as well. So what does that mean? So as part of, let's say I was talking about a student's case, correct? A student is continuing to work towards improving his score, right? But how will he improve his score? As one of the inputs to improve his score is to reduce the amount of defects that he does in his exams. So when you go deeper and analyze how is he writing or she writing her or his papers, you would notice that 95% of the questions that he or she faces, he or she is aware of his answer. Unfortunately, they are making a mistake while calculating something at that point in time, and that is causing the issue. So the issue is not well preparedness only. The issue is also at that point when the test is being taken, how much of focus is on defect reduction. You see where I'm going? So all of this add to it. And then there are some very, very textbook definitions like uh, what is the defect density, or how many defects will be found in a certain number of opportunities. So let's say that, for example, you are executing a certain process that has 4 steps. Okay, step A, B, C, D. Okay, step A, you could make, let's say, 10 defects. You have an opportunity to make 10 defects. Okay, because there are different sub steps to it and so on. Step B, there are a few more opportunities, let's say 5. Step C, let's say there are 10, and step D, let's say there are 10. So you are basically saying that in total, there are a number of opportunities for you where you could make a defect. So, uh, if you look at a development, a code that any developer puts in, there is a complete in detailed, let's say a KLOC, kilo lines of code, or K is for 1,000. So for 1,000 lines of code, how many defects does come over? So for every line of code, there is an opportunity that a defect can be made. In fact, if you go deeper and see, for every line of code, there could be multiple opportunities that a defect could be there. So for every 1,000 lines, there could be probably 3,000 opportunities that a defect could arise. So this definition of 3.4 defects per million opportunity basically says if you have a 1 million opportunities to make or for a defect to occur, and if you keep it under 3.4, then it is good. So go back to the airline system, right? Let's say that the success rate of a flight taking off successfully and landing successfully is 99.99%. What does that mean? There is a 0.001% chance that a flight may not do the successful landing and takeoff. What does that mean? One in 1,000 or 10,000 flights is going to crash statistically, right? Is that a good measure, team? No. There are 1,000 flights that are taking off in each major cities in the world every single day, and that could be a catastrophe that industry cannot take, and no one would anyway fly anymore. So the measure for that process could be much more stringent. A measure for a medical process could be much more stringent. A measure for a financial industry could be different. So, overall, this is a common way of saying that how good is my process? Is my process in following the Six Sigma standards? Is it having under 3.5 defects per million opportunities? So that specific understanding of how to calculate that opportunities of defects occurrence, and then saying how many will occur as a data and substantiating it and saying that this is the reason it is failing, is all what we talk about. So at the end, the final analysis that you need to put together is to take a process that is working, take a process that you want to implement newly, and make sure that you drive it for quality, you drive it for overall improvement of performance, you drive it for defect reduction. And your methodology of taking it in a very systematic step by step process of doing so is the whole school and terminology of Six Sigma. So team, just for your information, I am a Six Sigma Green Belt certified, and I have been trained on a Black Belt certification. So, what does that mean? In fact, I didn't put anything in the slides here for it, but basically, these certifications are, or these belts are different levels or stages of every individual who goes through this whole life cycle of Six Sigma. This talks about their capability to one, follow the process and make these changes, or two, be able to teach or tutor other members in the organization on Six Sigma principles, methodologies, and how to do it, or three, be able to guide and monitor multiple Six Sigma programs that can run and get implemented in an organization. All right, so all of these things put together will take you through this different belts and different certifications team. So that is something I will definitely cover as we go along, but I wanted to specifically talk about you. What about you? Why are you even here today? How is it gonna help you and your overall uh, journey on Six Sigma? What's it gonna be? Number one, team, and I'm very straightforward in the way I talk about things. It looks great on your resume. All right. At the end of the day, Six Sigma by itself will not give you a job. All right. If you say that, hey, so what's your specific qualification? And you say that, hey, I'm a Six Sigma green belt, by that itself, you may not find a great job in IT industry. Yes, if you're a black belt certified, if you're a master black belt, like an MBB, and who has executed multiple programs, then absolutely, you are a hotcake in the industry. There's no question about it. However, if you say that, I'm a green belt certified or I'm a green belt trained and so on, and say that I'm looking for a job, that by itself doesn't sell you. You have a skill, let's say in development, let's say in software testing, let's say in management in IT, let's say in databases or any other skill. But if you also mention that you're Six Sigma trained, or you're Six Sigma certified, or you've done Six Sigma projects, that looks great on your resume. So this got a specific weightage. It talks a lot about you. It talks a lot about the way you think, the way you will approach every situation in the work, in the project. And that is a significant one. If you ask me, team, I have recruited hundreds of people across various projects. Uh, and if I see this, I would be impressed. It is as simple as this, team. What kind of a reaction will happen if a if for a specific event, sorry about that, you have attendees that are coming in, and you see people coming in regular t-shirt, jeans, and so on, and then you see someone really smart coming in, well dressed, business etiquettes, mannerisms, everything, wearing a proper suit. What kind of a impression would that person create? Of course, if you're going for an absolutely informal event and you do that, it may be a mismatch. However, if you're going for a neat event and that's how someone comes dressed tip top, then you would automatically give respect. So they are demanding respect for the effort they've put in and how they treated themselves, correct? Or depending on what they wear or what they drive or the way they talk or the way they treat the other people, right? So you are creating that. So could be anything else like a certification or saying that you have got awards or you have submitted papers or you come from a premium institute or you have done your masters or you have done your PhD. In a similar fashion, having a Six Sigma on your resume will look great. Not only for when it may not help you find a job quicker, team. That's the difference. See, if you put Six Sigma and submit into Dice or a Monster or a Career Builder, no one is going to search that, hey, okay, software testing, QA engineer with Six Sigma. Maybe very, very little, maybe very specialized. But once they get the resume, once they open it and start breezing through, and this is Six Sigma, that will strike out and say that this seems to be a person who's got a very quality conscious towards the resume, not towards the resume, in their career, and it shows on the resume. So any agent would love to sell you forward into the next phases. So that's why I say it looks good on your resume. All right. So the biggest thing for me personally, team, and it's done this wonders. It has helped me for the first one immensely. There's no question about it. All right. Whenever I've attended an interview, I never, ever missed to mention the fact that I have been in the world of Six Sigma for a while. I am a green belt certified Six Sigma professional, and I've also been black belt trained. I do not forget to mention that at all. But more importantly, what it has done is it has changed my perspective. It has changed the way I think, I behave, and I do things, from a performance, from a quality, from a constant improvement, from a defect reduction perspective for everything that I do. So today, if I want to code, how do I plan? How do I do things? How do I make sure that the quality, everything is superior? All right. That has changed significantly. So what does that mean? Everything that I do, the way that I approach is changing. And what will it do? To who will it do that? It will give better return on investment for your employer, for the client, whoever gets you into the project. Why? Because once your thought process is in that direction, automatically everything that you touch and go about will continue to be a derivative of it, and you will continue to bleed quality, bleed excellence into whatever you try and do. And that will obviously show up in every work, in every product, in every project that you work. It will also be an excellent ROI for you. Why? Your personal growth. Number one, you are uh, apples to apples. If you have this exactly the same skill, qualifications, project, and experience compared to someone else in the industry, and you are to be shortlisted, Six Sigma may be that one single feather in the hat that may help you. As I told you, by itself, it may not kill you for a job, it may not do it for you, but as an additional skill, it will be an excellent highlight. That's before you get into the work. But once you get into the work, having gone through that approach, having gone through projects of Six Sigma, done the implementation, you will automatically see and improve your performance, and that will get you better opportunities, better pay, better increase, better recognition in your team, and so on. And that is how it'll do. And the last point I definitely wanted to put it in here, team, is one of the few things that I have always been glad that I did, glad that I've been part of, and very proud of, is the fact that I'm a Six Sigma professional. And I truly love the feeling that I have it on my resume. It throws a lot of weightage. It has helped me personally look at things differently. I mean, it's not that I have not done it earlier. I have not looked at performance improvements. I have not seen a situation in my own house or in my own personal life and see that, hey, you know what, this requires change. But the way I approached it, the way I did it, does it. So there are so many micro projects that we will do in within our head. So far, so good, team. Any questions on what we have done, what I've tried to cover? Um, I just want to make sure that you are all with me. I have not a very large audience today, but a decent size. Just want to make sure that you're all good and we are good to go. So if you're a good, team, let's move on to the next slide. I have a couple more slides about the two different projects or types of approaches to Six Sigma and what they will do. So the first one is called DMACC. The way we call it is DMAIC, and the abbreviation is basically for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. As you see this, what this whole approach or way of doing things is that if there is a project, or if there's a process, or if there's a current ongoing operation ongoing currently, DMAC will help you to improve it. So you can take it from now to later, all right, and improve that situation using DMAC. And my friends, you could apply this to anything in life, anything, absolutely anything in life. Be it your health, your fitness, your weight goals, your fitness goals, be it your personal finances, the way you are managing your finances, how what's happening, be it the way you organize your house, the way you organize your stuff, the way you make investments or distribute things, the way your projects are working, the way you execute a specific project, how is your current Scrum process or your Agile methodology, all of these things are working, and so on. So the way it works, a very simple thing. You start with selecting a project and saying that, hey, this is my project. This is what I'm going to do. And you're going to define the problem. What is your problem? All right. Let's simple take the health management, weight management as an example. Okay. It may not hit the nail on the spot there on its head, but let's take it as a reference. So, what is your problem? Your problem is you want to lose weight. Example. All right. Now you got to measure the process. How do you measure and say that you have to lose weight? What are the measures? So, audience, tell me, what is the measure for it? The measure is what? Weight. That's your weight in pounds or kilos or whatever, correct? But is it the only one? How about BMI, body mass index, right? That's an important one as well. Then how about the other things like measuring your waistline, or let's say your overall your chest line, or your arms, how big they are, right? And how about a scale ratio of where you are in terms of your age, your height, your body frame, and so on. So there are multiple things you can measure, and all of those things have to be considered. So you've defined the problem. Now you're saying that this is what we will measure, and then you will put them together and say, this is how I'm going to measure this daily. I'm going to measure every day at this point and see what is my waist, what is my weight, what is my BMI, and so on. Okay, so you're going to measure your process. Now you're going to go back and analyze the root causes. What is causing it? Is it because of sorry, your inactivity, because you're too much on a desk job, or is it because you have an hormonal imbalance, or is it because of your eating disorders, or is it because of the kind of food you eat, or is it because the kind of food you do not eat, or is it because you don't work out? So many reasons, right? So you have to analyze the root causes, and you have to find the solution. You have to identify which are the causes that are root, that are significantly causing this specific problem for you. All right, and then you take the top few and talk about improving the performance on those. So you will create an entire plan and an agenda to improve on those specific areas. The root causes will not fix every cost. The main strongest causes is what you'll work on. So you will go about an entire improvement cycle, and then from there on you let it go. It's gonna go back to where you started, or in fact it's gonna rubber band around and go even beyond. So from 180 where you started to go to 160, you may go end up at 190 or even 200. And that's where controlling the performance improvement that you've gained will become critical. So the entire process of DMAC, defining your problem, measuring, analyzing, improving, and then controlling, is how you do it. To do the entire thing, you will start with something called as a project charter. You will define a team. You will define who's going to sponsor your whole thing. You're going to talk about a champion who's guiding you, and so on. The same thing applies to real life projects. So you may have a project which is going on, but you'll see that there are too many defects coming out. All right, or the release, the testing is not being completed in time. Okay, or you will see that the code is having too many broken areas. So you have to start with a specific, definite problem, and then go about fixing it. So that's one approach for a problem, or sorry, for a process that exists. The next one is called DMADV. This is for a project that does not exist. You want to start something brand new, all right? But you know, and you've already learned the concepts of Six Sigma. And you'll say that, you know what? Since I'm starting something brand new, this time I'm going to make sure that I start and do everything right from the beginning, get go. And for this, you'll talk about the same thing like define the problem. You'll talk about how you're going to measure the process as you go about. You'll talk about analyzing root causes that may cause the issues in performance, quality, defects, and so on. And then you will develop the process and you'll continue to verify the result. So applying these two concepts into practical experience, executing couple of projects using multiple tools and concepts is what will get you the grip of Six Sigma overall. All right, team. So sorry about that. Like I was saying, Six Sigma in real life, it would change your perspective, the way you look at things overall, personally, professionally, everywhere. You will get to take a look around you and see what are the things that Six Sigma can really impact. In fact, even after this session, you can go back and see what can I impact. Can I impact something in my personal life? Are there problems? Can I look at it from a Six Sigma perspective and improve? Absolutely yes. Absolutely brilliantly yes. That is the beauty of the system. It touches the basic concepts of how humans behave and how we go about doing different process. Okay, and then you can talk about improvements in everything that you do, how you drive your car. Hey, I'm losing mileage. Here's the problem. I'll tell you something. The what is the most interesting thing? The interesting thing is sometimes you don't know what the problem is. Talking to the customers, getting their voice of customer feedbacks and saying and defining the problem itself is a big exercise thing. Typically, for example, if I ask you, you may say that, what, my car does not give me too much mileage, right? But if I dig down and dig down and dig down, I'll realize that the actual problem is you are spending more amount on your fuel every month than you are supposed to do. And so basically, you're spending over $400 a month on fuel alone, and that is a lot of amount. That is the problem. The problem is just not that your car is not giving you enough mileage. So the root cause could be completely different now. So then what will you see? Your car could be one of the drivers, but the route that you're taking to your office is also probably there. It is also the way you drive. It is also the way you maintain. And if you could avoid to take it for shorter distances, all of these things will then become a solution. So if I just stick to improving your mileage of your car, what would happen, team? Your root problem has not gone. So digging deeper, when a customer says something or when someone else uses say something that this is my problem, and identifying the right question, right problem itself takes a lot of art and effort, and that whole approach is very important. All right, and then you will see how it gives you the results. The whole perspective is going to be different on that team. So I'm down to the last few slides. Before that, I just have a quick one-page document that is more like a course content doc team. So I wanted to quickly show this to you so that you get an idea of what I plan to cover as part of the upcoming course on ITeLearn on Six Sigma. All right. So you will be exposed to all of these concepts as we go along. I'm going to quickly not read through but share this document with you and talk about. So here is an overview of what the training is going to do, how I'm going to take you through that entire journey of mastering this different DMACC and designed for Six Sigma, the DMADV thing that I showed you, and how you go about implementing it on various projects and processes at your work, at your projects, and so on. It's going to be about a 10 hours program, but there's going to be a lot of exercise and group activities that you need to do together as a team in discussion with each other and so on. You will the prerequisites is team. Basically, this is a focus for mid-level, sometimes even beginner IT engineers to QA professional developers. The reason I say is mid-level is at least 2 years of practical experience will help great. The reason is you are starting to look at work, you're starting to look at how the industry is working, and you're talking about improvements on it. All right, but I've seen it. Six Sigma has become a mandate in many organizations, and as part of their initial onboarding for freshers itself, they go through a rigorous training, and Six Sigma is included as part of it. Dates and times is something that I'll need to get to at length, so I've not put that here. So we'll start with the basics, fundamentals. I will not focus too much from a theory perspective. Yes, there will be a lot of theory. However, we will do much more practical examples, and theory will automatically get involved into it. We will talk about DMAC, DMADV. We'll talk about how we go about taking a project, executing it. The same for DMADV. We will use many tools and concepts like I've shown here as part of the overall implementation. So, team, at this point, I am at the end of my presentation, and I am open for any questions that any of you may have. So please feel free to put your questions on the chat, and I would love to answer them. And additionally, along with this video, we will also let you put your questions on the website. That way, any questions while you watch this video will also get answered. So, team, go on. So, does it prepare for a Six Sigma Green Belt certification? So, what happens is, team, as part of the Six Sigma, this is the stage one. This is a very introductory level to get you there, and so on. Now, for a certification itself, number one, the organization which is giving the certification should be accredited, in the sense that they are already a Six Sigma following company. They have a certain amount of black belts or master black belts who are running the program, and they are the ones who will make sure that the certifications as a percentage of their overall employee strength is going on. So while it focuses in the direction of what is being done by an accredited institute or an organization, this will not necessarily get you the certification. However, with this skill, it will make it much easier for you to get a certification externally. So, Mohammed, I'm going to look at your question. I've been in software testing field for a few years now. I don't have job. Same time, I feel lost. I signed up for a most course as hoping to look to talk to you for a couple of minutes. Okay, so since Mohammed, this is more of a one-on-one thing. We will talk. We've just finished one live project on Selenium yesterday, right? So I'm waiting for your resume and all those things, so we can go deeper onto it from there. Can you please show the tools? So Priya, absolutely. I've okay, the tools of from the course content, right? I'm going to show that. Where is that document? Give me a second, please. So team, let me know if there are any further questions, please, while I'm quickly showing up this. All right, there you go. So again, Sirisha and team, as I said, the focus is not on certification right now. The focus is on getting this and putting it on your resume, saying that you're Six Sigma trained. All right. As a phase two for the same program, I'm going to talk about certifications and how you could get certified with it. Uh, do you get in obtaining certificate because employers are looking for certified? So, Yusuf, employers are not looking for certified professionals. Okay, they go about asking. See, here's the problem: you ask the right question back to them. You ask them, are you looking for someone who's certified, or are you looking specifically for someone who's a Six Sigma professional? And they'll say, oh, no, no, Six Sigma professional, but if they're certified, that'll be great. If they're green belt certified, that'll be great. So it is a perspective. Certification is absolutely yes, I agree. I'm not saying no to a certification concept right now. I'm just saying that just by itself as a Six Sigma trained has a great value. As a phase to that, to this, you will talk about certification, outline about tools like what they do, what how is it going to help, and so on. Okay, so team, what happens is each of these are different concepts or different templates or simple Excel or a fishbone diagram kind of things or charts and so on. This will help you better analyze or capture information. For example, voice of customer, right? What is voice of customer? Voice of customer is the feedback form where and how you collect the feedback and hear their problem areas properly. So, how do they put their issues? How do you analyze it from there and so on? Or, for example, root R&R, roles and responsibilities, right? So, you'll talk about who is going to do what in that Six Sigma project, who is doing what portions and so on. Okay, what are they responsible for? What are they supposed to be doing? Minitab is an excellent tool that does a lot of your data handling, data analysis. It gives you a lot of features that you could use as part of your entire Six Sigma process. Okay, run charts, histograms, again, great comparisons for you to know and understand what is causing the root causes, what is causing the challenges, and how you can fix it. SIPOC, for example, how your entire from the supplier input to the end customer, how the entire process will happen, and how can you identify where the issues are happening. Right. So each of these, like critical to quality, or you talk about cause and effect analysis, and all of these things are basically failure mode analysis and so on. All of these are concepts and tools that we use as part of an implementation cycle to identify where to apply what tool to get the entire DMACV or DMADV project executed. So what you see is here. So even without a specific training, you could go about doing these specific ones, right? But with the tools, it's going to make it much more easier. It's going to make it more focused, and it'll make sure that you get the maximum results out of it. Do we use all of them or only one of them? No, you will use most of them, not necessarily all, but as I see here, you're going to use most of these tools that I've mentioned here. Can you please outline about tools? Okay, that I've done. Do you guide? Let's see. There are a few questions earlier that I missed. Can you help give an example that how can Six Sigma help QA analysts to improve their process? So, Dikta, QA analyst, it is even more important. Number one, as I told you, right? It adds a lot of value to you that you are a Six Sigma professional, and so you're basically a quality professional. Okay. Next is whatever you do, all right, you take a process and you try and improve it. For example, I've been in sales for a long time, and people have asked me, how could you do a performance on sales? I said, listen, we have a rigorous process of getting RFPs, requests for proposals, and then we submit proposals that may end up getting signed as projects. So the entire process, by from the time we get an RFP to the time we give a response to an RFP, why should it take 1 week? Why can't we cut it down to 2 days? That was the whole need, and we I worked relentlessly on that for about 2 3 months and made sure that the project became a success. Now, from a testing perspective, what could we do? Let's say you have an automation process. All right, you're seeing that the automation is running, but it is one has too many breaks or stops in between. Then you may see that the automation is running, but it is not running as fast as you would want it. Okay, so you see that there is a speed issue also. So with all this background, you may say that, okay, my new project charter is improving on the automation, existing automation test suite. Or let's say you're implementing an absolutely new automation test suite, you will use this as an implementation process, as a benchmark to say that I'm going to follow the Six Sigma way of doing it for this one, for this new project. Right? It could be as simple as your overall test life cycle. All right, so you have releases that are happening monthly, and as part of that releases, you have that 1 week crux time where your testing activity is predominant, and you see that the remaining 3 weeks is left very much unutilized. So your new project charter or your problem is defined as how to improve the utilization and spread it across and try and avoid too many peaks and valleys in this whole cycle. So instead of being low at 3 weeks and then extremely high peak of utilization for 1 week, how could we distribute it? And then you do a Six Sigma project to go about analyzing to make sure that your testing efforts are distributed, you're well prepared and well planned to execute things. And in fact, one of the things that we will do with when we begin is for you to choose a project. And team, we're going to talk about certification also, about how you could get certified with it with these projects. That is the whole approach for a team. All right. So regarding the dates, times, cost, and all that, I will communicate you. I'm assuming this should be around the same ballpark of $350 for videos and $400 for a live session, like the other courses at ITeLearn. It should be in the same ballpark. All right, team, that's it from my side. I'm done with my overall presentation. Thank you all once again for attending. I hope it has given you some insights into Six Sigma. There are excellent books, there are excellent tutorials for you to learn Six Sigma by yourself. The only thing that I'm trying to structure this whole course as a one stop shop. So you come in, you spend time and your effort, and you get through this entire cycle as a team effort. So that's the whole intent, to walk you through this right now. Hopefully it'll help you in your career. Hopefully you'll be able to take the right direction towards it and so on. Thank you everyone, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon then. Bye now. Thank you all.